Good evening, Suzanne Dibble, data protection law expert, coming to you raw and uncut on a Sunday evening. Good evening to you all, and tonight, after my very busy day up in London watching Cirque du Soleil, which was awesome, I'm going to be talking to you about something that is a bit of a myth, and I've been asked the question a lot recently. People say, I'm B2B, surely GDPR doesn't apply to me. And the answer is, yes, it does. GDPR does not distinguish between B2B and B2C. And I think a lot of people are getting confused between GDPR and what is called what we refer to as PECR, which is the Privacy and Electronic Communications Regulations, which do distinguish between B2B and B2C marketing. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that now. But again, if you just want the 1 minute version of this video, it is that GDPR equally applies to B2B as it does B2C. Okay, now I actually want to highlight some articles here, and this is the danger of people who don't really know what they're talking about posting articles on the web, and then they get reposted, and more people share incorrect information. So I'm reading an article here it's a marketing marketing online website, and let me find the relevant bit. Yeah, so this is text on a website. It says as suggestions as to what you need to do. One of them is identify who you can continue to market to using legitimate interest. This is especially important for B2B companies. Under GDPR, sole traders and partnerships need to be treated in the same way as consumers. Now, that's incorrect. GDPR does not distinguish between B2B and B2C, and there is nothing in GDPR that says that sole traders and partnerships need to be treated in the same way as consumers do. The PECR, however, does do that, and that is the regulations that are currently under review, that were supposed to be coming out at the same time as the GDPR and is delayed. But I'm just going to give you a little summary as to what the new regulations are likely to say, because a draft e-privacy regulation, which will replace the PECR, has gone in front of, it's been published by the EU Commission. That doesn't mean it's in force yet, it's being debated. Okay, so the key features of the draft regulation, this is the new PECR, which is all about electronic communications, so email, etc. Now, one of the ways it's changed is that it will have a broader scope, and it will capture broader technologies such as voice over IP, such as Skype, instant messaging, such as Facebook Messenger, and web-based email services such as Gmail, which don't currently fall within the scope of the existing laws. Again, kind of makes sense to me. These are, new evolving technologies. The legislation needs to keep up with these types of technologies. Consent is changing, and it's being brought into line with the higher standard of consent that is in GDPR. The new definition requires a freely given, specific, informed, active and unambiguous consent expressed by a clear statement of affirmative action. Brings it completely into line with GDPR. There's going to be new rules in relation to the use of cookies and similar technologies that can track users' activities. And in particular, the regulation supports the use of built-in browser settings, which will allow users to express consent, opting for either a high or low level of security. Direct marketing. Now, actually, the rules on direct marketing are going to remain pretty similar. Essentially, there are restrictions on unsolicited marketing communications. And as I say, the regulation distinguishes between B2B and B2C communications. In respect of B2C communications, the regulation requires the sender to obtain the consent of individuals, apart from, you might have heard of the soft opt-in, and that's where you can send email marketing for similar products and services to existing customers, as long as you always give them the right to opt out of that. In respect of B2B communications, the regulation leaves it to member states to ensure that the legitimate interests of corporate end users are sufficiently protected from unsolicited communications. Okay, so I think that from that, there will be some restrictions on marketing to corporate. So B2B, there's going to be some restrictions, but we don't know what they are yet. The other thing that's going to be changing significantly is the penalties under the new regulations. They've been brought into line with GDPR as well. They were 500,000, same as the rest of the data protection regime, but they're going up to match and mirror the GDPR fines. So there's a 2-tier penalty regime, fines of up to 10 million euros or 2% of annual worldwide turnover, or and that will apply for breaches including infringement of the cookie rule and others. I'm not going to go into them now. And fines of up to 20 million or 4% of annual worldwide turnover for different types of breaches. And that would apply for the breach of the principle of confidentiality of communications. So that's how the e-privacy regulations will be changing. And as I say, the myth that I want to bust, if you like, on this little video is that GDPR does not distinguish between B2B and B2C communications. It's all about personal data. If you're using personal data, i.e. data that can identify or is capable of identifying a living individual, then that's personal data and GDPR comes into play. Okay, so if you see the typically marketing websites that have this on there, but if you come across that and you're thinking, I'm B2B, I'm not sure if GDPR applies to me, then I can assure you it does. So that's it for now. Nice short video tonight. And I will be doing a Facebook Live sometime this coming week on the prospecting process, because I know a lot of you are interested in that, so keep your eyes out for that. But that's it. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend, and I will see you in the Facebook group.